Hey yo, what's up? It's your boy, the one and only, the tallest nigga, the favorite comedian, Mula Ranks, and I'm back again with another one on Kasikas TV, and I'm here with the honorable Peter Modiba. Is that right, sir?
You must just call it Piet.
Oh,
As
Pete.
Piet, that
Oh,
is Piet.
Pete.
Sure.
Pete Modiba. So, like, before, because I've done a little bit of research,
Yes.
before I speak on that, I would like for you to introduce yourself
Yes.
briefly so that the people who might not know you can get to know you a little bit.
No, correct. And thanks for having me, my guy. As you said, you mentioned, my name is Piet Modiba.
Okay.
I'm the current ANC Youth League, Greater Tshwane Region Chairperson of the league.
Okay.
Elected recently in December conference.
Okay.
And of which my hometown is in Atteridgeville. That is why I reside in Tshwane.
Oh.
I grew up in the streets of Atteridgeville.
Okay.
Went to school in Atteridgeville. That is why I'm homeboy of Tshwane.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if this is true or not.
Sure.
Are you perhaps somehow a poet or have done poetry in any way or form?
No, not really. I'm not a poetic person, my guy.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
maybe it's the source that I got that.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so like today we're going to discuss one of the most critical things that are pulling especially black people down, and of which is a factor that is uh, making the economy, the state of our economy as it is right now. As you can see, now South Africa is one of the poorest countries in the world if we were to compare it 30 years back. And it's the main contribution of that is lack of jobs that is been happening, I don't know, for the past 15 years, especially the youth. Youth unemployment is very high. Even unemployment as a whole is high. So, as we will be delving into that, I would like for you to firstly um, say or like talk about the current program that you are busy with, so that people can get to know more about it.
No, look, like you're mentioning, the economy is not doing great.
Okay.
Yet. That is why our slogan, uh, our slogan going out of the conference, we have said that economic freedom of our lifetime now and not later. Because obviously the state of economy does not favor the young people that reside in the country.
Yes.
But what we are saying is that we have a resolution that was taken by young people when we elected in conference
Okay.
to say that one of the things that we must deal with is youth unemployment.
Okay.
So they've said that we are done with conferences. We're elected to lead the young people of Tshwane. So we are saying that you must come back and we must have a strategy on how are we going to deal with unemployment. So we said let's have an Imbizo. We call it the youth Imbizo.
Can you pause it,
Okay.
little? Okay. Sorry for that.
Okay.
As you were saying.
Yes, as I'm saying that out of the conference that we went to, we were given a mandate that one of the things that must be crucial that we must deal with is youth unemployment.
Okay.
That is the first thing that we must deal with because of we have declared youth unemployment as a pandemic because of young people are not working.
Okay.
So we have said the branches that have elected us and young people that have elected us, they said now you are in office. We're saying come back to us. Let's have a strategy on how are we going to deal with unemployment. That is why we came with a campaign that is called Bacha, bereke.
Okay.
Because we want to understand what is the real issues that are making young people to not work. So that when we have a program of action, we can be able to address the challenges that we have picked up from young people across. Because they will differ in challenges. Some will be saying that I want to work, but I'm not skilled enough to apply for a certain job. Some will be saying, I'm skilled, I'm qualified, but these are the red tapes. So those are the type of engagement that we need to have and compile them into a document so that when the leadership sits in in their corners, they can be able to address those things and we can be able to tackle the youth unemployment as we have declared it as a pandemic.
Okay. No, okay, I get what you're saying, my brother. Um, so far the steps, what are the steps that you have taken since the beginning of the program uh, till now? What are the steps that you have taken so far? Or are you still trying to hear what the youth is saying? What are the cause of them being unemployed? Or have you, has there been any progress in that?
The first step that we are doing is that we have taken out leadership out of office and we
Okay,
have said go across Tshwane, all corners of Tshwane, go and meet young people,
okay,
go and have an engagement with young people, go and find out what are their challenges. That is what we call phase one. Because if you can see across Tshwane on the same day, on the same time, all leadership will be sitting with the young people in Soshanguve, in Hammanskraal, in
which day is
Adresville.
this?
It's the 28th of March,
Okay,
of which is this coming Friday. All sittings will be starting at the same time so that we give an ear across the platform of young people where they reside.
okay,
So that whenever we come out of those sessions, we sit together. We don't wait to go into the next phase of going to another area or what. We compile everything across Tshwane. We put it into a document. We address that document. But most of the things that we have done already is that we've got the research team that is in the office, a research head of our portfolio that is researching on the challenges that young people are facing already. He's compiling a data of which is online. Will gladly share it across all platforms so that young people can log into that platform.
okay,
They are able to register their issues, and we compile a report that will tell us that this is the most critical challenge that young people are facing, and all that. That will be compiled together with that document that will be out of that Imbizo. So now we're currently in the first phase. The first phase is to sit and listen to the people that have sent us to go and deal with the crisis, so that we compile that document and work on top of it.
okay. So let's say all the necessary steps are taken,
Yes.
and then after the 28th, you have
Yes.
all the information that you need,
Yes.
and then from there, what next? Are you taking the information to the people in power, or are you? I'm trying to find out of what next.
The other thing that is within the pipelines is that the information that we have gathered, we know most of the challenges that young people have already,
Okay.
of which it does not mean that only the state is able to employ young people. We've got
Yes.
private sectors that we can engage. We've got NGOs that are able to offer skills and employment as well that we need to engage. All those things will follow suit. We're just finalizing the plan of engaging all stakeholders, bring them into one space, and trying to find out how can we help each other. If maybe there's something that is blocking them from finding a relationship within the government, we do that. Private sectors, how are you assisting young people into getting employment opportunities? NGO, how are you transferring their skills and everything? And remember, there are also those that want to go to school. They're saying that I want to work, but my problem is that I want to go to school and finish a certain course or a certain skill. We're also engaging the educational sector to say that let's try to assist these young people that cannot go to school, so, to acquire this kind of skill, and then we transfer them to the plan that we will already have with stakeholders that we will have invited.
Okay. Okay. So from what I gather is that, so I think for me
Yes.
as a young person,
Yes.
the reason for this unemployment rate going high, it's not because maybe there's people uh, with no qualifications
Yes.
or skills to offer.
Yes.
There's plenty of people with skills, there's
Yes.
plenty of people with qualifications,
Yes.
but they're still not employed.
Yes.
I think it's mainly because there's, as a business, or as a person who has ambitions to start a business, there's
Yes.
too much red tape
Yes.
for, like, I don't think the system encourages people to start their own business. There's too much red tapes for you to start your own business. So I think a lot of people get discouraged by that, and the only option left is to go the traditional way of
Yes.
you going to school
Of course.
and getting a qualification and hoping that you will be employed, of which there, there's a certain a number of people that can only be employed
Yes.
if there's a certain number of businesses available.
Yes.
So I don't see how uh, jobs will be created without businesses,
Of
because
course.
there's limited businesses that are operating, and plenty of them are shutting down because of the economic state of our country.
Yes.
So as the chairperson, knowing that, how are you going to, um, with what you've said, or like after you've gathered all the information, you've got things in pipeline so that you can engage with the private sector to see how you can work with them so that they can employ people. But then a lot of businesses are shutting down because of the economic state of our country. The vet has been, I think, I don't know if it has been implemented, but then the VAT this year is supposed to rise
Correct.
by 0.5%.
Correctly.
And next year again by another 0.5%, of which it will be devastating, especially to the majority of South African black people, which are poor people. So, like, how are you going to do that when the businesses are closing down? Those who want to start their businesses are discouraged by the rate tapes that comes with starting a business.
Of course.
So how
No,
are you
no,
going to
no,
deal with
no,
it?
correctly. As we mentioned in unemployment, business sector is also part and parcel of the plan that we want to alleviate unemployment.
Okay.
Of course, we've got young people that are not interested in getting employed, but they've got business ideas. The only thing is that they don't have resource to keep the machine running, of which is maintaining the business and also employing other young people. But we're saying, as well as that, we need to enforce the youth funding
Okay.
into making sure, because of we want to resuscitate the economy of especially township economy. But that can happen through assisting young people in operating their own businesses. So in terms of submitting some of our ideas and proposals to the state or to the government, it must speak to youth funding, because of some of the things, 60% of what we're speaking of will be resuscitated by youth funding. If there can be a proper aligned youth funding without red tapes, of which we are championing as the Youth League, we're saying that we want to guard against those that are not are keeping the youth funding.
Okay, from what you have saying,
Sure.
you pretty much sound like a man with a plan, right? But then, as much as we can start programs, as long as the people that have the power are not willing to make the changes, you can work as hard as you can to make those changes. But as long as those that have the power are not willing to make to make the changes, what good is it for you to keep on doing this thing where else those that have the power, and it's hurting that it's the people of our skin that has the power but are not making the changes to improve the lives of people of color. So what are you going to do about that? Because there's people, and it's not like it's the first time people come up with programs like this and then nothing happens. Plenty of time people came up with programs, and then the reason why there's unemployment, it's not because there's lack of innovation and
Yes.
information of all of that. It's just there's people that have power that are not willing to make changes for the better of the people of color. So yes, you can have great strategy of how you can help us as the youth on how we can create jobs. But then if people that has the power are not willing to make those changes, what good is it?
Look, no, look, my guy. You are pretty much correct. You are not the first one to come with such innovations. But like I've said in the opening, that we've been given a mandate by the young ones that are saying we are putting you here because of our crisis are not being yet enough. So we come in and we're saying that we want to tackle all those issues. But one thing we must realize is that you have mentioned issues of red tapes. That there might be red tapes. It's not like they don't know the struggles that we face. It's just that we lack the implementation part from the leadership that we might have, or the government that we might have. It's just the implementation part. But we're saying, like, we have been elected here to produce results for the people that have elected us. And of which, if it means that we have to fight hard, we will fight hard to ensure that all the challenges that young people are facing, they're dealt with. That is why we're saying economic freedom of our lifetime, now and not later. And one thing that you must remember, some of these people that are making the red tapes, they were put there by us. So if there's no sense of implementation, we can just say that then let us send ourselves to go and implement those things. Because this is the government for all. We represent every society, everyone in the society. So we saying that if they fail to implement, we will also stress out that they can implement. Let us enter and implement those issues, because we can't keep crying for the same thing that lacks implementation. If we need to deal with the economy and we need to deal with the crisis that we're facing, we just need a proper plan and a proper implementation. If there's somebody that cannot implement, let them shift and let us go in so that we can implement the crisis that we're seeing. That's all that we can do. But we're promising that these ideas and other challenges that we're facing, we're going to fight hard until we have reached some of them. Obviously, we can't solve all of them at the same time, but we're saying we need to fight hard because we need to represent the view of the young people. If it's not us, then nobody else will represent them.
Okay, I, I get you. Um, you know, there's people that are inspiring to young people out there. For example, you look at young people like Abu Lekau,
Yes.
Abu, the owner of Makosa. These
Yes.
are people that are inspiring to us as young people to start our own businesses.
Yes.
But then you look at them, to our eyes they are inspiring, but then to those that know, like there's a lot that goes into one to become successful. Legao, yes, is a brand owner. He makes shoes, he makes a lot of things. Now he's defining himself as a businessman, not as a brand owner. But then you find that the government is not supporting that. And I'm not saying support in terms of you giving Legao funding to do
Yes.
whatever or to open a store. I mean, like government is not investing in our country in a sense of infrastructure so that we can produce our own things. Lekau, yes, makes shoes, but then he has to take his designs to another country so that they can make those shoes for him, on of which that design will create employment in another country.
Yes.
So we also losing money because of that, and we're losing a lot of jobs because of that. What I'm trying to say is that the government is not interested in making our lives better. They know what they. It takes such a simple thing, infrastructure, to make our lives better. As the whole of South Africa, yes, if the government wants to benefit, they can own that infrastructure and say anyone that has business opportunities to make, let's say, shoes, here's a factory where you can produce any of any shoe that you want to. But then they're not doing that. In fact, we are forced to go out of our country to seek help so that they can produce. And then when they come here, it's a finished product. And of which most of it, the raw materials, the designs, the ideas come from here, but then we can't make them. So how, like, the government is not willing to help us as as a country. And then it's a big problem because then we can have good ideas, but then if the government is not willing to help us in that way, there's no way we're going.
No, definitely. There is some part and parcel of our resolutions that firstly we need to support locally, because we can speak of economy and we don't support locally to grow the economy of local. And especially when we've got raw materials here, but they go and cheat out of the country and they go and make money in other countries. But we're saying that, I'm going to give example of a diamond. We can have a diamond that goes out of the country and go and be fined that side and come back
Then
and
we
be
have to
sold.
buy.
Whereas you have to buy it, of which it comes from your country. We are saying we need to have a place whereby these diamonds can easily go there, they be fined there, and they be sold also here in our country, because we want to increase the state that we are in now. And we are saying that we've got a lot of, for example, in Tshwane here, we've got a lot of buildings that are hijacked and dilapidated, and of which they can be turned into a business sector. Like there in Roslyn, there are a lot of factories that are such sitting there.
Yes.
They don't have any people that are running them. They are just sitting there. People are turning them into drug dens and buildings that they will turn into a residential area.
Yes.
But they belong to the state. They belong to the city. Or saying, why are we not enforcing laws to say that let's take these buildings back, especially those ones that can be turned into factories, invest them into these young ones that are be able to produce clothing, food, or anything of which they can produce,
Yes.
and let them be sold into the country so that the country also can stop taking out money and going to find materials that's outside, but we can produce our own. So those are some of the resolutions that we are pushing into the government, because through our president and through some NDC members, that is why we are also in the government, so that whenever there's that discussion, these discussions that involve the youth can be easily inserted into the agenda and supported and be voted for in itself there.
Thank you for that. Okay, so let's talk about locally. I don't want to
Yes.
go locally.
Yes.
What do you think of the current leadership of our province? Do you think with with the programs that we have, is the current leadership that we have the leadership that's willing to listen to our ideas, as you're saying, or like we're gathering information and after that we're going to implement steps further? That, do you think the current leadership is willing to listen to those ideas?
No, without a doubt, I really have strong feeling that the leadership that we currently have, especially in Gauteng under the Premier Panyaza Sufi, is willing to listen to the people. Like, for example, as young people, we have submitted a proposal to Premier Panyaza to say that we need to have a youth advisory panel that will deal with advising the leadership that is there on how to handle issues of young people. As we speak now, they are finalizing issues of appointing the youth advisory panel that will advise the Premier on how challenges of young people are dealt with. But there are other things. We are saying that we have submitted a proposal to say that we need young people to be in corridors of power in terms of being the HODs of higher positions in government, so that they can be able to relate to what challenges young people are facing. You can take a 60-year-old person and say that the person must become the CEO of GCRA, for example. Doesn't understand the challenges that young people face in terms of funding, what they go through, what are other things that can be implemented that speaks to young people, because of their old. They're not thinking like us. But we're saying if we've got young people that are in corridors of power, they're handling head of departments, they're handling all those influential positions, they can be able to assist us. So through the youth advisory panel that the Premier is going to implement in the later stage, not more than a month to come, that will speak to addressing challenges that young people are facing. It means that the board will speak for young people and advise on how to challenge. So that is why we're saying we have faith in Premier Panyaza, but you know how things under the provincial government of unity, of which is different parties that are there, but also they speak the same voice because of the Premier is the captain of the ship, and they sit and implement, but they also face the same challenges that we face. Because I think youth unemployment doesn't speak to only individuals, it speaks to everyone that is there. So we're saying through the board that the Premier will implement, it will speak directly to what we're proposing.
Uh, I have to give compliments to the premier for the program of with the wardens, the police wardens, that it has created job opportunities. But then, I, obviously we're not there. But then, yes, it has created job opportunities and intensified security in helping with the SAPS, right? But then the gun violence keep on increasing. But obviously we're not here for that. But I just wanted to touch on the gun, although there have been enforcement on the security sector, but then the gun violence keep on increasing in our townships, especially Soshanguve. There's been a massacre that has happened. A lot of people, I think more than 10 people have died, lost their life in a space of a month. So, but then I want to know, like, what happened to the Hoi Hoi, is it Hoi Hoi program that
Hoi hoi, yes.
Premier Panyaza Lusufi I don't know, came up with, and then the Nasi Span program, because those programs were meant for job creation and to skill the youth of the township, so that they can be employable. What happened to those? Because I remember I registered to I think it was the Nasi Spani last year. Nothing. I've never heard of anyone that said I was taken to this program, we were trained, or I got hired through that Nasi Spani or the whole way. Nothing. So I want to know, like, what happened to that program.
No, no, I think if you mentioned the program of the wardens, we still have the wardens. The only challenge
Now,
that
that one is the
yes,
one successful program that I know
yes,
did take place.
yeah.
I want to know about the other programs of Nasi Spine and the Hoi Hoi.
Yes, of course. There are other programs that were there, of which were created by Nancy Spani. But the challenge was that it was just on a contractual basis.
Oh,
But remember, as the new financial year comes, there need to be a budget that will sustain the programs.
okay.
And remember, as we currently sitting, Gauteng budget has been cut down by 51 billion. Since the state of the province or the budget speech that was done by the MEC of Finance, that the budget has been cut. But the only issue there is just to intensify the funding model into sustaining such jobs. But these jobs were created somewhere 12 months, somewhere 6 months, somewhere 3 months. It was just they differed. But some of them are retaining back because of their being adopted by the national office. Like for now, they are introducing that one of teacher's assistant that will be sustained by the province together with national. Because of they see that at least it alleviate the unemployment rate to be at a certain level. But one saying it was just a funding model, and one not saying that it's a good initiative, but we want young people to be employed on a permanent basis because you get employed for 3 months, there's nothing that you can do. You get that stipend or that salary, but there's nothing you can do because of you are employed for 3 months, then after that, what then? But we're saying that we need, this is why we're speaking of more funding towards this kind of programs. Our submission is that sustain such programs because they alleviate the crime that we're speaking of, they alleviate all the challenges that we're facing. It's a good initiative, it's just you need to put more funding towards it so that it can be sustained. Even if you're saying it's contractual, but you must be able to sustain it. We don't want to encourage young people to just go and fight for EPWP. What is EPWP? Yes, it assists some of those that want to get employment to sustain, put bread on the table. But we're saying that we are having young people that are more qualified to be in certain positions. The only thing that we need to do is fund such programs so that they can be sustainable.
Okay. I don't want to put shame on any other programs because
Yes.
you mentioned something about the EPWP program, one of which is very helpful.
Yes.
Ne? But I would like to be or to play devil's advocate on this one.
Yes.
I don't think that program is helping anyone. I'm speaking in terms of moving the country forward. It's not helping anyone. In terms of, yes, helping people to put food on the table, it is. But then I think it's enslaving our people big time because it's not moving the country forward. It's like the 350. It's like it's okay, you can be unemployed. You can have, we will give you something for you being unemployed. How is such programs helping to move the country forward? Because if we keep doing this, South Africa, as time goes, it will become the poorest country because the economic state of our country keeps deteriorating. Every I don't know, every year it keeps going down. So I'm concerned of why is government not investing in programs that will help move our country forward, but instead they keep putting money in programs they know very well it's not gonna take especially people of color anywhere, but then to keep them contained in their places. I would like to know on that, or why. It's not like we don't have programs that can make sure like our people are transformed in a way so that we can move our country forward, so that our country can be competitive to other countries. We see countries like Tanzania, countries that were no match 15 years back to South Africa, but now they are flourishing because of the kind of leadership that they have. But ours, I'm not sure.
Like I'm saying, as referring back to the program of EPWP, I was giving an example to say that we I personally, and with the league that I'm leading, we can't encourage young people to go and apply for EPWP. It's not sustainable because we can't say we employ it while we are working for EPWP. But we're saying, why can't we pump in money to this EPWP because of it's a proper job.
Yes.
It's just that it's not funded enough to be sustained. Why can't we focus on such things? We can say that somebody must come in and work in electricity as an EPWP, but we give them stipend. Then after 3 months, we release them. We talk about, especially in the city, there's a lottery system that is mentioned. That no, the group has entered, they got their share. Let's get another. We can't be continue encouraging people to enter into EPWP just because of we want to alleviate the unemployment thing. We need to just focus on pumping resources to such programs because of if we've got people that can be able to do the job and do it perfectly, why can't we employ them permanently and continue doing the job so that we can be able to, like for example in the city we've got problems of lights, robots that are not working. We see now the service delivery at least now is picking up, but we're saying why can't we also, these ones that are working, they employ them permanently. The city must find a way of funding this thing through the levy that they collect in terms of electricity that they collect, the revenue that they collect. They take some of the chunk of revenue collection, they pump it into such programs so that they can be sustained. Because of currently the state now of economy does not accommodate people that are working contractual work or EPWP. So if we're really serious on improving the country and the state of our cities, your focus must be able to say that let's fund programs that will alleviate the economy, that will assist us into being a better country or being a better city. Other than focusing on, you see that the system that you are using now is not working. You need change. And if you need change, you need to come up with new ideas. If you come up with new ideas, that is where we come in. New fresh blood, new ideas. We give you ideas on how to handle this thing. We move. But if you keep on gatekeeping the system and saying that no, we know how to do it better, it won't change, and the crisis that we're facing will not change now. But if we allow new ideas, new fresh proposals to come in and assist each other into making this city a better city, that is when we win this battle.
Okay, now let's talk about Tshwane because
Yes.
we are here about, especially for Tshwane.
Yes.
So, like, how are we planning to make Tshwane better? Because the state the state is devastating in Tshwane. Like, it's like every second house there's crisis of unemployment. So, like, how do we make sure that Tshwane becomes a better city? Because if we are to compare uh, the metropolitans of our provinces, I don't think Tshwane is on even on the top three.
No, you're correct, my brother. I'm gonna refer you to Tshwane back then and Tshwane now.
Okay.
I don't want to speak in terms of leadership, but I want to speak in the state of Tshwane back then and Tshwane now. 2016 going back, Tshwane was the most top city
Yes.
across the world because of things that they do. There were employment opportunities, there were proper service delivery, there were a lot of things that were happening that we see that from 2016 moving forward, it changed because of what we call a change of administration. And currently now, we've got close to 11 months or 10 months, another new change of administration. There's new leadership that is coming in again.
Yes.
They are trying to fix all the challenges that we have faced. But we're saying we're coming in as young people, we're putting our proposals there. We're saying that bring back the Tshwane that we used to have. We used to have what we call a unit that was called the Youth Development Unit here. It was a unit that was run by young people, able to create opportunities for young people. Everything that revolves young people, it was directed to that unit because of it has its own mechanism of how to run their programs. That is why you would see that there were programs that were speaking to young people. There were opportunities that were given to young people because they had their own unit. But from 2016 till now, that unit was taken out. But there are guidelines that are there. There are policies that speaks to that program. But those that came in, they didn't see it fit that no, we can't give young people this thing. We'll handle it ourselves. That is why you see that the high unemployment of young people increased again. There were no programs. There were no funding of young people. And when we speak of young people are across. There's sports, things that are happening that young people are, there's entertainment. There are a lot of things that young people are doing. So we can be able to tackle such challenges through those groupies. That are those that are doing events. They can employ others and focus on event management. There are those that can do catering. There's events of the city that young people can cater for. There are things that young people can do, but they will need to have a unit that can be able to focus on their things alone as young people, because of they will understand how things run, other than relying on other departments to come and take young people
Yes.
into them. It doesn't assist at all.
So, in terms of um, making sure that all the ideas that we have right now to make sure that we fight this, and especially youth unemployment in Tshwane, what what are the obviously you've stated the steps that you are going to take after gathering all the information. After that, like, how as the youth can we trust the leadership of the party that whatever plans that you're willing you are you are planning to do, how can we trust that actually you are going to implement those? Because initiative have been coming, programs have been coming, the same story. So, like, how can we trust the leadership that this time there will be an actual change?
No, definitely, my guy. Let me say this is a moving train. This is not just a program that will particularly speak on a certain day or a certain time and it ends there. It's a moving train. We're creating where we're going to have more sessions than we're having now. Because of we're going to get the mandate from our people, we're going to get mandate from young people that are here in Swan to say that this is the mandate we're giving, go and fight for these ideas there. And we'll have back-to-back sessions on reporting on the steps that we have reached, where we managed to crack, what are we going to do? It's going to be an ongoing session because of we can say that this is a pandemic, but we do it once off. Once you do something once off and don't do follow-ups, that is where it lapses and it doesn't change anything. So for us to bring hope and believe that this can be at least a fought for idea, and also have faith that something can change as well. We'll have a feedback sessions as leadership who are elected, who are not running away, who are still here for the term of office, and it's a responsibility given to us that the problems that we're giving you, even though you can't solve them all, but at least meet us halfway, change the situation that we're in now. That is the responsibility we've been given, and we've said that we'll champion that aspiration of young people, of assisting them where we can. So we're going to the challenges that we're going to take, we're going to meet with the leadership, MMCs, and everybody that is running the city.
Yes.
And like I said, stakeholders that we're going to invite. And after going through those process, we'll have a feedback session to say that this is where we are, this is what we need to do to change this. We will give a feedback session so that we keep on reporting on what the work that we have done.
Yes.
If maybe we have reached 30%, we say we're in 30%, we're still left with 70%. Let's keep pushing. We're in 50%. So that will give hope as well to young people that know at least we are seeing light. Other than coming and saying that no, we're going to give you jobs, then we disappear and we come. The other leadership comes in, we elect them, they say the same thing. We're not saying we're giving people jobs. We're saying we're going to work together to alleviate the unemployment of Tshwane.
So, like, which areas specifically are we targeting, or is it Roslyn only, or now we just wanna create this initiative that we're gonna take to the leadership, or we actually going to industrial areas and making sure we implement these things? And if we are doing that, which industrial areas are we specifically targeting, or is it Roslyn alone, or there's other
No,
areas?
no, like I've said, we have deployed all our leaders across Tshwane. And we've got the research team that is working across, getting us the data that we're looking for on which areas can be targeted to assist us with the challenge that we're having. I've given Roslyn as an example, but we've got Hamaskara, let's go fence as well. We've got Mamelodi, of which has got a Tazas firm, of which it creates Fort Bakis and everything. We've got Atteridgeville, they've got Winnie GX that are not working, they've got firms that are not working. Across Tshwane, the data research team that is going to come back is going to say that in this area we can target these people, we can have an engagement with them, see how we find each other. And we've got malls across across the city. We can be able to engage with those that are running these malls to say that, but how are we assisting each other here? I mean, like we're buying in your complexes, we're buying in your shops, but we are not getting an opportunity to come and work in the same area that we're in. So I'm saying the research team is working around that information that we want. Once we gather and gather it together with the challenges that we're having, that is where we're going to again to develop a plan that will go across Swan so that we can assist each and every young person that is living in Swan. Whether you are in Amaskral or in Atteridgeville, Centurion, wherever, if there's an area in your hood that we need to target, we're going to target that area.
Okay. So in terms of that, but you know, as black people, where there's
Yes.
money, there's likelihood of people dying.
Yes.
We can come up with shopping complexes or malls, but before that actually takes place, people has to die. What do you have to say about that? Because people have been dying. I can count two malls that I know that before those malls were built, people died for that. Because then we're fighting for contracts now. So what do you have to say about that?
Look, my guy, we cannot run away from what we call a construction mafia. That we cannot run away from. There are those that think that they can run a construction site as they please, and of which it alleviates to crime. Of which the state and together with SAPS have to take care of such incident.
Yes, yes.
But we're saying we're representing hopes and beliefs of young people. If it means that we have to die fighting for what's right and what needs to be delivered to young people, we're prepared to do that. We're saying I can't say that no, you have elected me, but I can't assist you because I'm afraid to die. It means I did not come to you with a good hope of saying that elect me, then I will be able to assist you where I can. But I'm saying that we cannot run away from. There's construction mafias, and we know it is across nationally. But we're saying we're going to fight until our cries are heard. If it needs to involve the law, then let it be, because we need to do things right. And if it belongs to young people, let it be given to young people.
So going back to you, so
Yes.
obviously before you came into this position, you were once my age or even younger, where
Yes.
you were this topic that we're talking about was hitting you. What experience do you have with unemployment?
Personally, my friend, it hits home. That is why I take it as if like it's a brainchild of my own, because
Yes.
it hits home. I remember when I got after finishing at Tshwane South College, because I attended Tshwane South College,
Yes.
it was very hard for me to find employment. They will tell you about experience. You're just out of school. They're telling you about the 10 years experience,
Yes.
and of which in some of our families, we are the breadwinners. They are looking at us as like, you are the guy in the family. You need to produce. We raising our sisters, our little brothers that are looking up to you. So it was difficult to fight, but some of us at least we managed to not resort to crime, because we living in the hoods. We see what crime does. It does not pay. You end up doing crime. You end up dead. That is where it ends. But we have said that we are going to enter into space of leadership so that we can be the ones fighting for this thing in the forefront, because of it hits us home. You can't have somebody that did not go through the unemployment stage, did not go through poverty stage, that will speak loudly about such challenges that people are facing, unemployment and poverty, of which they did not go through. It does not hit the home because they are wealthy, they've always been like that. But we've been in that space and we know how we grew up. They destroy what I'm doing this thing, and we're going to ensure that we win all these crises that we have.
So, but what about the nepotism that happens in factories and whatnot? Because let's say the plan, you implement it correctly, you execute, but then when it's time for the people that are supposed to get hired, and then people from those firms of those factories keep on employing their own friends, their own families, because it's something that's happening right now.
No, of course.
Like you will find that people, the youth, keep on applying for jobs. They keep on applying, but then they don't get hired. And it's mainly because jobs are being sold, nepotism is happening. So what about that? Because you can put this system in place, but then as long as the people in the factories keeps on committing these kind of crimes within the workplace.
No, the other thing that we want to implement is a monitoring value. We can't have something that we want to implement, then at the state of implementing, it gets nepotism inside. For example, we are mentioning that we agree with factories that no, but let's create employment, let's create these opportunities.
Yes.
For example, 100 young people across the city. Let's see who can get in. Once that has to be done and somebody else come with another group of young people, and it happens mostly in the cities that we live in. You will find that you enter into a municipality, you get somebody that has not stayed in Tshwane, is from home.
Another,
You
yes.
understand, but our people have applied. So we want to monitor that system. Where did it arrive to a place whereby we are saying that we want our young people in Tshwane to be employed, but they are there, they deserve the job, but it gets given to somebody else. It means there's corruption in there. So we're going to have a monitoring team that will monitor everything that we do. Because remember, like I'm saying, we have to give feedback to our young people when we see them in our sittings. So those are the things that we have monitored. This is what we have agreed upon with this particular private sector. This is what we did. These are the people that are there. All those things are going to be monitored. So we are going to ensure that everything is done by the law and is done correctly. So that we also have a way of proving that we have said that we are going to assist with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where we are, other than nepotism.
But what about, especially in private sector, there's
Yes.
factories and companies that are not affiliated with the
Yes,
party,
of course.
and obviously um, there will be disagreements in, uh, let's say, allowing those steps to happen in their companies because they're not affiliated with the party. So like what are you how are you going to make that happen? Because it will come to a place whereby, like, if there's anyone who's affiliated with the party within the company, they will get fired because they are the ones that will take information of what's happening within the company and give it to the leadership of the party. So how are you planning to navigate around that? Because this, if things are executed correctly, like you say, it will get to that point.
No, look, I want to emphasize that this is not just a strictly party thing. We're just taking stand because of we're a leader of society, and we lead everybody across. And we're not saying we're going to knock on this door as a party. We're going to work with the local leadership that is there. We're going to work with organizations that are there. We're going to work with everyone to ensure, because of, like I said, this thing does not only involve a party. It's not an unemployment crisis of a party. It's a
Yes.
national thing. But once we come together and fight one thing, I'm sure we can be able to crack at some point. But remember, when we approach the private sector, we are not approaching them as if like, no, this is the request of the party. We're
Yes.
saying the community that lives in within around, and here are they, here are the representatives of different structures. We're saying let's meet each other halfway. What can we do to assist the community around? And that will be agreement across with all people that are represented there. It's not a party thing. We're just leading it because of why lead our society. And we're saying we're taking it head on because of the people are saying that no, we are there, push it. But however, we're saying we've got different. That is why even our program, it's not only speaking to members only. It says everyone that is young and unemployed and have a challenge must come to the city so that they can deposit. NGOs that have got young people that are struggling, bring them there so that we make it a big thing. Because of if we go there, like we are saying, if we go there as a party, others will be saying no, they want to benefit as a party.
Yes.
Others will be, for example, the EFF will be saying no, no, we're not entering the level now. We want our things aside. The others will come, DA and the rest. But once we're saying that this is just a moving train that will include everyone so that we can be able to deal with unemployment. There are others that are saying we're not affiliated to any party. Who are just young people that are unemployed. We want assistance. So those are the people that we need to present to such things, to saying that there are others that are not employed, but because of they're not affiliated to the party, you can be labeling them to the party. But we're saying we're leading it, but it involves everyone that is inside.
Okay, lastly, as we close, we're closing. So like on the 28th of March, what are we doing? Is it a march or
On the 28th of March, of which is a Friday, we're going to have a sitting where we call an Imbizo.
okay?
Imbizo is whereby all delegated people that are sent to different places are going to sit with the communities there of young people. They are going to have an engagement. It's an open engagement of the challenge and state that we're in, and find ideas as well on how to tackle these things, and also collect the data of people that are saying that no, this is the challenge we have faced, this is what we did. It's an Imbizo. We're having an engagement. Then from there, the phase two will roll out, of which it will be then collecting all that information, coming, sit down, having a plan of action on how are we going to deal with the crisis. So on the 28th of March, this Friday, it's an Imbizo across Tshwane, in Hammanskraal, Atteridgeville, Mamelodi, Soshanguve, Century, and Inner City. At the same time, at 1 o'clock, all communities will sit down and have an engagement around the youth unemployment.
So in a case whereby like what whatever this plan, this strategy is not taking place, how can we hold the leadership accountable? Because it sounds like a great strategy. Or hey, I, I know that a lot of the youth after this Imbizo will be hopeful and motivated that hey, at least there's people who are thinking about us, and then there's hope in the future. So that how are we going to hold you accountable if you are not doing what you said you're going to do?
Like, remember now, like I'm saying to you, that now we're called by the communities that have elected us to go there, and they've said, come back, this is what we want, this is what we're proposing to you. Go and form a plan of action together with the ideas that we're taking from us, that must form part of the plan of action. We're going to sit, constitute a plan of action that will speak to all challenges that are there. And before we can implement it, we are going to come back as well and say, this is the plan of action. This is what we have collected. This is how we're going to move. And we're not going to do it alone. We're going to do it together with you. But we must be held accountable, because of we must be able to report back to structures and say that the plan is moving in motion or it's stuck because of 1, 2, 3. Then it means we have to change the face and change it that way. Maybe that way can work. It's just that we have to have a way of communicating. But if we take a plan and want to implement it alone, we can sit with the plan, not implement it, and it will die eventually. But if we've got people that are holding us into account and say that no, we need to come back and report, of which it's our prerogative. Every time we need to come back and report in everything that we do. And if we come back and report and you say that no, but here you are failing us, it means you are not the right people to lead this thing. Let's move and get people that will assist us with addressing these challenges.
So how are we making sure that the people that we are here about, which is the youth, how are we making sure they're involved into this thing? Because a lot of the youth, they will be disinterested because it sounds like one of many that has happened. How are we making sure that the youth is interested in this, so that they can hear whatever that they can be part of this, and then also voice out their opinions on this, as you will be having an Imbizo, so that they can also be part of it and engage. So how are we making sure that the youth is interested into taking part into this thing?
I think the only thing that will keep the youth interested is by implementing actions. If there's actions that needs to be implemented, they need to be implemented. But like we're saying, what leadership, we're called by structures down there that are engaging this youth on a daily basis. But like we're saying, if there's action towards everything that we're doing, like for example, if we have an Imbizo and we've got a plan that can move in motion without having to wait for another Imbizo and everything, we need to implement it so that people can see that this train is moving. Like I'm saying, it's not a standing train, it's a moving machinery. So we need to be able to make sure that everything that we see that we can implement, let it be implemented and report back to structures, so structures can speak to the communities and say that this is what we started, this is what is going on, this is the level of engagement, the next plan is this and that, so that they follow track. And also the communication part, it's important, because once you communicate in every action that you do, it will keep people interested and say at least we see action that is taking place.
Okay. So phase one is Imbizo.
Imbizo, yes.
So like Imbizo is taking part in every
Every
region,
zone.
every zone.
Yes.
So like um, if as a young person I want to be part of this, I must engage with the zone of my area.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So on the 28th, every zone will be having an Imbizo.
And English, yes,
Okay.
of which there's places that are communicated. It's across the social media. For example, in Atteridgeville, there's Railway Teachers Center that is behind the plaza. It's communicated that at this time the Imbizo will sit there. In inner city, there's Oratsal that is in town there by Church Square, that building. So across all zones, there are places that are identified and communicated and shared across all young people to say that on this day there will be an Imbizo of unemployment. Everyone is invited to come and raise whatever that they want to raise towards this campaign.
So phase two is
The phase two that will be launching is after having an engagement, of which the engagement will determine the phase two. We can plan for the phase two without understanding the dynamics that are there. Once we have set, we implement the phase two. Will be guided by what we have covered across the region.
I guess this was a fruitful conversation.
Yes,
I'm honored to have such leadership to our presence and also for coming to the channel. And I couldn't be more happier that there's people caring about us as the youth,
correct.
because if the leadership is not taking care of the youth, then the state of this country is doomed.
Correct.
Because as we can see, things are escalating, crime is increasing, gun violence is increasing,
Correct.
a lot of things, social issues are spiraling out of control, and such things lead to another thing. That the next thing there's a rape, the next thing there's
Of
prostitution,
course.
because of we didn't take care of one specific thing that could have avoided all these other factors that are now making our areas dangerous. And
Sure.
but then because the leadership is making sure that, you know, trying to make sure that the youth is well taken care of, I'm hoping that things will be executed as planned and nothing comes and blocks whatever plan that the leadership is planning to take.
No, of course, Mike, and thanks for hosting us here. But let me assure you, this is not just a talk show. All right? We've got the prerogative to take care of the young people, and we need to ensure that our leadership skills at least cascade into a young person that is there, and they can still have hope in us fighting for their rights and for everything that they fight for. And we are more than available to come back and also give feedback on what has transpired since our last discussion, so that we can assure you guys that, you know, we're not doing a talk show. We're going to implement everything that the young people across Tshwane are telling us to implement.
And with that being said, hopefully one day we will be back on these tables and chairs to give a feedback, a positive feedback that we held that Imbizo, we heard the youth what they're saying, and these are the steps that we are going to take
Yes,
to make sure that phase two is well executed, since the phase one was successful.
definitely. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, man.
Anytime, my guy. Thanks.